Hello and welcome to today we will redo our analysis first of all we will do our analysis in gold. The monthly candle in gold is now moving down. In weekly, the previous the current weekly candle almost tested below the lows of previous weekly candle, and we will see how this current weekly candle will react to low of previous candles or above the highs of previous weekly candle. In daily time frame, we are sort of in a consolidation from previous 3 days. Candles are closing side by side. This indicates low volume or consolidation. So first of all, we will draw our zones in H4. This is 1808 area is a support, and 1858 area is resistance. We also formed a support at 1821 area, and we can spot some sort of resistance at 1838 area. In H4 time frame, we can see a resistance forming at 1838 area. In H1 time frame, below 1821, there is a high potential for price to keep moving down till 1808 in 120 pip range, and above these wicks there is high probability for prices to keep continuing moving bullish. However, we are waiting. We will see how these candles will close in M30. This area is a resistance, and pre-NY open will happen in almost 12 minutes. So at this point we are just waiting. We have buys above 1826, shorts below 1821, and this whole range, almost 30-40 pips of range, is a no trade range. And at this point we are just waiting to see how the prices will react, and we will give our reaction to the prices. 1839 is a strong resistance area. 1821 is a strong support area, and by looking at H1, we will wait for this H1 candle to close, and H1 candle do form some sort of support at 1821 area, and if we break above 1826, there is high probability for this, for current H4 candle to keep pushing up. If we break above 1826 area, we can easily target this 46 pips of range till 1831 almost. So this is our analysis for GBP/JPY. For gold and for GBP/JPY, we need to redo our analysis. In monthly time frame, we are still above 80 163 strong resistance area, which is now turned into support, and current weekly candle have only moved bullish since it has opened, but the weekly candles are rejecting from 168.500 area, almost 250 pips away. So what is the probability that current weekly candle will move up and reject from 167.800 area, almost 160 pips away? We will look for more confirmations in on smaller time frame. In daily, we are forming a support at 165.200, same area from yesterday, and we are forming a resistance at 167.800. These are the almost same areas from yesterday, what we have drawn on yesterday live streams. In H4 time frame, we will readjust our zones, and price is sort of consolidating in H4 time frame, and we will look for more confirmations in smaller time frame. In smaller time frame, there is a support at 166.500 area, a resistance at 166.500 area, and support at 165.800 area. And there is a high probability if GBP JPY breaks above 166.400 area, it will keep pushing up till 166.800 area, almost 30 pips of range. So we will mark those areas, and this range is almost 64 pips of range, and it is a no trade range in my opinion. We are also forming a minor support at 166 area. If we break below this support, we can move into this 22 pips of range. But at this point, we need to wait for prices to settle down. In H4, we are consolidating. We need to break and close above 166.400 area for buyers. However, we are just waiting at this point. Better shots are below 165.700 area for almost 40 pips. Better shots below 165.800. Better buys above 166.500. So this is my analysis for GBP, JPY and gold. For now, we are just waiting. We are waiting to see how prices will react. New York pre-London Open will happen in almost 5 minutes, in almost 4 5 minutes, and we will see how it will close. We are waiting for H1 candle close. If even if we buy from this area, there are some rejection at 18 19 pips, more rejection around this area about 25 pips, and another rejection at 166.400 area. So it is, in my opinion, it is our best interest to wait for candles and wait for more confirmations. Currently, we are just waiting at this point. So yesterday I entered in a very bad trade. This was sort of, I shouldn't have entered in this trade in first place. My entries was of buys once candle started breaking above the high of previous candle, and my stop loss will be of 15 16 pips, potential TP to previous area almost 34 40 pips. And later on in New York session, this was my sell trade idea for potentially filling this area almost 56 pips away, but I wasted my chance on very bad trade. In GBP JPY we are waiting. So candles have now closed. H1 candle closed above the highs of, above the open of previous two candles, so there is high probability for current H1 candle to keep pushing up, but at this point we are just waiting. In gold, we are just consolidating below resistance. There is strong resistance at 1826 area. Let's look at news today. We have no news. We have low impact news, but that is what I like. I don't like news and I don't like to trade news trades. So GBP JPY is pushing up almost 3-4 pips, and it can reject again from this area, but at this point we are just waiting. Let's look at. So this is what I like in GBP JPY. There is high probability below the low of this candle. If we enter shorts below the low, if this candle started breaking below the low of previous candle, and if we enter short, there is high probability for prices to keep moving bearish till 26 in 26 pips of range, and I will paper trade this trade. Our stops will be around 14-15 pips, and our TP will be around 25 pips. This is the same trade as that of gold. Prices first faked above, formed a support and started moving up. This is what I like, and at this point I am entering in GBP JPY shorts to potential hit this area as my TP, and my stops is around 12 pips, 15 pips, and I am waiting and will see how this trade works. It is a pattern 2 that I have explained in yesterday live stream 27 on in live stream on 27th June. So we are in almost 7-8 pips profit, and we need to break below this minor support to potentially keep moving down in this 16 pips of range, and for now we are just waiting. Gold, we are just waiting. I have one trade to take for today, and I will see where I will enter. So this is my trade journal. Let's look at what mistakes I have done yesterday. Yesterday this was monthly time frame, weekly, daily, H4, H1, M30 and M15. You see, it was my mistake. It is the same pattern that have appeared in GBP JPY, but at this point in gold it was of buy, but in GBP JPY it is of short. But guess what? The prices have now turned bullish at this point. I am closing 50% of my position. Once prices started breaking below the low of this candle, there was no point of candles moving above again. That is why I have taken some risk out of my position. My initial stops was around 800 US dollar, and I am running in almost 400 pips US dollar loss. It seems like it have tested that and rejected from minor support at 165.900. So I will close my trade here altogether. Initially risked of 800 US dollar and lost around I would say 480 US dollar on this trade. There is These are my two patterns and I will go full risk on these two patterns, but there is also probabilities of trades not working out, and in my opinion it was just the probability that this trade didn't work out. My execution on this trade short was excellent and it went in 89 pips profit, but it got rejected from 165.900 area, and it kept moving up around 11-12 pips, but at this point we are just waiting. Is there any news on GBP JPY? There is no news. I can spot no news. And, yes, we are just waiting at this point. So gold has also broken above 1827 area, and there is high probability for prices to keep moving bullish. If I enter on this trade, my SL will be around 20 pips, and I can potentially target this 32 pips of range. But I am waiting for M15 candle to close outside the range. We are moving up in gold. It has broken above all the highs from previous candles. We will wait to see how these candles close. This paper trade that I have taken in GBP JPY, I forget to look at higher time frames. The point is H1 candle was closed strong bullish, so there was no point for me to enter in short. I entered in short in GBP JPY without looking at higher time frame. So this is the mistake I am making, and I am repeating these mistakes. If gold is breaking above that area, and still I consider there is very high probability for prices to keep moving bullish, but at this point we are just waiting. PY is sort of has went in sort of small consolidation. It has rejected from 166.300 area, almost 15-16 pips of rejection. M15 candle is closed. M15 candle in gold has closed with no wick at the top, and there can be a probability for prices. It can be a fake out, but it is too early to say. And if it retest at 1826 area, we can enter in long for potential move up till 1830 area. But we are just waiting at this point. this point we are just waiting. See, if we have entered with impulse entry above the highs at 1827 area, our stops will be around 17 pips, and our prices have only moved around 9 pips, including 2 pips as spread in our direction. So that is why we are waiting for high confirmation trades. Prices have tested 1826 area in gold, and if this candle flips bullish, I will enter in longs to potentially fill till 1830 area. So at this point I am just waiting. This candle needs to flip bullish. I will place my buy stops. Above this, my stops will be around 15-16 pips, and I will potentially target almost 22 to 30 pips, 38 pips on this trade. So I am just waiting. M30 candle is also about to close in 8 minutes. So I will see how this M30 candle will close. See why actually this was our trade, and this was our SL for buys. If but we need to enter after this wick has formed. Only then it will be a profitable trade, and however there are a lot of opportunities that keep presenting themselves, so there is no need to panic or do something out of your system. So we are just waiting. Just waiting at this point. We have placed our buy stop above 1828, and if we break above 1828, there is high probability for prices to keep moving up. But the problem is current M15 candle is closing in 3 minutes, so I am removing my buy stops for now. I don't want to activate my buy stop in last 2 to 3 minutes of candle closing. I will rather wait for candle closing at this point. Uh, we are just waiting in gold. In GBP JPY, GBP JPY is now very tough to trade. So at this point I will stay away from GBP JPY. I will let the price in GBP JPY to settle down. Monday was amazing day, but I have wasted my day on some wrong trades. On Tuesday, today I might not be able to find some trade, but it's okay for me. And so far in London session, I see there are less trades, and I might be able to find some good trades in New York session. But at this point, we are waiting. We are waiting to see how these candles will close. And yes, for now we are just waiting for price to close. We are just waiting at this point. So the M30 and M15 candle is now closed. M30 candle has closed with almost a very little wick at the top. So in my opinion, price can move up or can move down, but there is 50-50 probability. In GBP JPY we have moved bullish in 28 pips, but this trade was difficult for me to capture as it is out of my patterns. That's why I sort of avoided this trade on my real account. Gold is now moving. Gold has now started to break above the highs of previous candle, but the highs are getting broken in first 2 to 3 minutes. So I will rather wait and see. I could have managed my stop loss better, but I was looking away. I was very confident that it will keep dropping and it will break this minus support, but that didn't happen. We are waiting in gold, like it has broken above the resistance area, but the move is very small and it is sort of staying at same price for past 2-3 minutes. So I am basically waiting. Even if it is a fake out and price breaks below 1826 area and continues moving down, I am not gonna enter short till it breaks below 1821 area. If it breaks below 1821 area, there is high probability for prices to at least test below the low of this week, almost 41 pips away. So I am basically waiting for market to show us something. But at this point I am just waiting. London sessions are usually low as compared to New York session, I have noticed, but we we are able to find some good moves in London session, and in New York session the moves are usually very fast. That is what I have noticed from by looking at charts. But it also depends on trend in higher time frame. Like if we look at H4, we are sort of stuck in dirty consolidation. So, but on weeks where prices are trending, we usually find some strong trend in London session. For now, I am just waiting to see where price will go. Prices are almost ranging at 1827 area from past, you see, like 7-8 minutes. So if I was in longs in GBP, in gold in this trade, I would have closed 75% of my position because it broke above the high, and if it wanted to go up, it should have gone up by now. And in GBP JPY we are breaking above 166.500 area, which is a strong resistance in H4 time frame. We just need at this point some confirmation to enter in longs. In GBP JPY I am entering in longs. My stop, this is my stop, and I will potentially target 166.800 area as my take profit. I am paper trading this trade in GBP JPY, and still there is high probability for prices to keep pushing up. In gold we are just waiting. So in GBP JPY I have executed buys once candle started breaking above 166.500 area. My execution was 6 pips away. I should have entered once the previous candle started breaking above the high at this area. My stops will be around 10-12 pips. I could have secured like 23 pips. I still believe there is high probability for prices to keep pushing up, but we will see what will happen. In gold, we are again now having a bearish candle, so we need to give time to market to for it to adjust. The low current candle around 300 US dollar. My initial stops was 700 US dollar. So I have lowered my risk and I plan to hold this trade for potential 28 pips of TP, but we will see how it will react. The M30 candle has closed like this candle that has opened and closed at same point. M15 candle has broken below the low of previous M15 candle. I have little bit of late execution on this trade. My perfect trade execution will be where my stop loss is, and this will be my stop loss around 7-8 pips, and I would have around 36 to 40 pips of range for prices to move in my favor. We are waiting for react accordingly, but there is little to no opportunity in market so far. There are 3 minutes left in candles closing. If this candle closed a weak or strong bearish, I will close half of my trade. And in gold, we are breaking below the low of previous M15 candle, and we will see what we will get later on. Almost 1 minute left in candle closing, and we will see. 30 seconds left in candle close. The way we are moving in gold, it doesn't look good. GBP JPY My stop loss is now hit almost 300 pips of stop, and yes, so at this point we are waiting in gold. If even if we enter longs in gold at this point, it will be around 16 pips of range and trade, and it's not worth it in my opinion. M30 candle has closed with no wick at the bottom, so still there is high probability for prices to keep moving bullish once we form a bullish M15 candle close at 1826 area. But today is a tough day to trade in my opinion. I got stopped out on GBP JPY and it is now moving as I wanted it to move. So this is the way things are. The whole idea was that my execution was little bit late, that put me in a very bad position. If my execution was accurate, then there is high probability that I am in this trade and I would have captured something. But this is the way things are. Still high chance for GBP/JPY to continue to 166.800 area, and we have clean range in H4, and it can even continue to 167 area. In H1 we have a resistance at 166.800 area, so my trade got stopped out, else I would have target this area as my potential take profit. We have two losses in a row today in GBP/JPY. One loss was due to my mistake due to technical analysis error, and the other one was the trade get caught in my aggressive risk management strategy. So at this point we are just waiting. We need to wait at least 8 minutes for M15 candle to close, and then we will see. 5 fifths of profits. At this point, I would have closed everything. So only thing left for today is GBP/JPY. If it shows us something at this point, then I will execute a gold buys, but I need to wait at least 4 minutes. I am very sad for this buy trade that I have missed, but I keep on missing trades as per my pattern, or otherwise I keep on entering the patterns in the wrong way. I need to sort out this problem before so that I could make some bucks. Gold is just consolidating at this point. However, if M15 candle closes like this, then I will execute a buy position. But if the bearish, so I will wait. So the candle has now closed, it has closed bearish, and there is high probability that we have formed a fake out, but the candles are still closing outside the 1826 range, so we need more confirmation to see if it is a fake out or not. But at this point we need to wait at least for 15 more minutes before we can make some conclusion, or before we can execute. just waiting at this point and there is nothing left of today is a tough day to trade, I will say, but we are waiting. We will see. In, in 12 minutes, M30 candle will close and we will see. But waiting for 15 minute or and M30 candle close. Almost 11 minutes left in M15 and M30 candles close. We are waiting in gold current M15 candle to close so that we can draw our conclusion. Almost 7 minutes left for candle to close, and 5 minutes left for candle to close, and then we can admin buys. For now, we are just waiting at this point. Today, London session was very slow in gold. In GBP JPY, it was sort of okay, but not very good. And I hope we can find some excellent trades in New York session. So will rather wait instead of wasting my chance to trade today. Now gone out of window. Can't enter shorts as we are in a sort of dirty range. We are just consolidating. We picked up above and we are closing back inside the range, but we can't enter shorts at this point because we are just in a dirty range. So we need to wait. Candle has broken inside the range and our analysis has now gone out of the window. This is the thing that frustrates me the most in Forex market. We keep on waiting for hours and hours for candles to close and something appears that just invalidates our whole analysis. Now the idea for longs is vanished and we are just waiting to see what will happen. There is nothing in GBP JPY also, so we need to give market some time to settle up. So at this point I am heading off. It will need at least an hour or an half hour for market to settle down. So I will see